document that both the NFL owners and the NFLPA were trying to keep under wraps. It covered a vast amount of things, but one of the main things that came out of it that I cared about and that you should care about as a fan, especially if you're a fan of the Miami Dolphins, especially if you're a fan of the Atlanta Falcons or any other team that was quarterback needy in the summer of 2023 when Lamar Jackson became available. It is a smoking gun that NFL owners across the board decided in an effort to back off of getting fully guaranteed contracts in the hands of the players and making that a regularity to allow the Ravens to toy with Lamar that whole offseason until he was forced to re-sign with his own team. Here's a snippet from the conversation, and we'll dip more into what is it used to be a bit of a conspiracy, but now it's starting to seem like it's a reality.
Raises so many more questions. But what the arbitrator had found with the Lamar Jackson case was that, quote, only a couple teams expressed interest to the Ravens before they chose to non-exclusively franchise tag him. Again, as NFL fans will recall. And that meant that the Ravens could still match any incoming offer Lamar Jackson received. But, quote, afterwards, no team reached out directly to Mr. Jackson, end quote. And Mike, at the time, I remember thinking this. Now I continue to just wonder about it. No team reached out directly to Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP when he's on the block?
An owner's priority, especially an owner of an NFL team in a competitive league with the most important position in all of sports, an owner's priority should be, if there is a talent available at that position, to do everything within our means to pull the trigger to get them in our locker room. Now, that is partially why I cannot be overly critical anymore of the Cleveland Browns and what they did to get Deshaun Watson. Are the things he was accused of despicable? Of course. Was he a surefire, though, prospect at the time when they were getting him from the Texans? Absolutely. Everybody in the NFL and their mama was out there trying to get him, including the Atlanta Falcons, who all of a sudden the next offseason no longer had any interest in a mobile quarterback. Can't tell me that was the issue when the Falcons had Spencer Rattler in their team. Oh, Lamar, though, his play style doesn't make sense. It makes absolutely no sense to me outside of collusion that the NFL owners of all of these other teams see a guy with MVPs behind his name, see a guy that is not even in his prime yet, who won at the college level, who has been winning at the NFL level at a historic clip. None of them reached out to Lamar Jackson, and only two of them reached out to the Ravens, and it sounds like those talks were short. We knew, C-Cat, and you're a Ravens fan, we knew that based on how quickly teams started putting out that they were not interested in Lamar Jackson, that something was up. This 61-page document that Pablo Torre uncovered, that was put together by the arbiter, that, again, the arbitrator's job is to take all of the facts he gets from the owners, all the facts he gets from the Players Association, and rule whether or not the NFL owners actually colluded, which would be illegal. He said in that 61-page document that they technically did not collude. There was enough reasonable doubt. That was the ruling at the end of the day. But we didn't know the evidence he uncovered. And I believe for the general public, the evidence he did uncover, it feels like a smoking gun that at the very least, these guys have some ulterior motives that's not just winning football games.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm kind of lost here in this situation. And we kind of spent 25 minutes pre-show where you were explaining this situation to me as if I was 5 years old. The one part I still don't get is to why this actually wasn't proven. You said there was not any evidence beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right. So
that kind of feels like a lot of reasonable doubt.
So here's why.
Or the other way around. I don't know.
There were multiple things in there, and I don't want to. Again, I try to keep this as general and broad as possible so it doesn't feel too inside football.
Digest it.
But a few reasons why the arbiter decided the owners were not colluding. Number one, though the NFL, and this is one of the things too that is, it feels like in it of itself it should be collusion. There is an NFL management council, right? An NFL management council, apparently led by the owner of the Seahawks. This council, it's supposed to be in place to police the league salary cap, as well as work lockstep with Roger Goodell to make sure everything is running, on par with the NFL. This council, following the Deshaun Watson deal, called together a meeting. Not just anywhere, CCAP, but in our own backyard at the Breakers at the owners' meeting in 2022, in March of 2022, the NFL Management Council called together a meeting where they encouraged, and I'm getting this from Pablo Torre's reporting, they, quote, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veterans' contracts, and again, at the March 2022 annual owners' meeting right here in Palm Beach County. Now, this might be the first time ever that any kind of collusion happened in Palm Beach County, though. That's my thing.
So I guess, is encouraging definition colluding, or is it one of those things where all for one for all, we're going to do this, you need confirmed?
That would be colluding.
Right. That would be. But you know what, guys? That just came to mind. I think it'd be a good idea. I don't know. Maybe we just don't give guaranteed stuff. And everyone, yeah, I guess that is kind of a good idea. But no one made an agreement. So maybe that's where it comes from, where no paper trail of saying we're all going to do this confirmed.
So it's funny you say that, no paper trail, because there is evidence that owners discussed amongst each other how deals with their quarterbacks and non-guarantees that they included in deals that they were negotiating were beneficial to everyone. Were beneficial to each other. Like there's documentation, again, in the 61-page document that Torre uncovered. And so here's the real thing. Instead of getting into all the minutia of it, here's the real thing. Before Pablo Torre comes out with this, it was a bit of a conspiracy theory that the owners colluded around Lamar Jackson's free agency, forcing him to go back into a Ravens uniform for whatever contract they agreed upon. They colluded, again, in several other cases. When you think about big-name quarterbacks not being able to find a job, Colin Kaepernick. Like, there's a lot of different situations in which people have assumed NFL owners have been all lockstep on one page. What we learned is that they absolutely are working in unison more than you would assume people that are supposed to be competing against each other are. Not just are they working in unison in a way that would not be beneficial to the NFLPA or the players involved, they seem to be doing it, and it seems to be going unchecked. It's one thing to get caught doing it. It seems like the arbitrator caught them doing it, and there's really nothing they can do about it. That's a bit of a dangerous scenario. Like, it makes sense, though, why Lamar Jackson thought, he's like, I'm going to play out my rookie deal. I'm going to hit the open market, and somebody is going to see the way that I played over these past 5 years and say, yeah, that guy, I would like him in my locker room to win games for my team. And everybody looked at him and said, I ain't going to do it. I ain't crossing that line. It shouldn't be a line.
No, and that was a couple of years ago. So what is the most recent weird situation in the NFL where collusion could be a reason as to why it happened? I immediately think of the NFL draft, and I immediately think why Shedeur Sanders fell to 5. Like, seriously, like that is. Like, I mean, if
not
the
5,
NFL,
fifth round,
yeah, he would have loved to fall to 5.
He's like, damn it.
But, and I'm not saying this happened. I'm saying that if the NFLs were capable of the type of collusion for Lamar Jackson, this feels a whole lot easier. Just determining someone not picking someone in the NFL draft, even though their specs have them graded in the first round at a premium position like quarterback.
Bruh. Of course. Absolutely, of course. It at the very least, fans have to feel like it is plausible now that these owners are working lockstep, and it's, against the players because they want more for them. They want more. Like, it's not a crazy